Hey Wargamers, we're back again. This is video 3 of our How to Play, Teach a Friend. We're going to teach you how to play Alpha Strike.
Indoctrinate your children.
Right. So in our last video, guys, we walked through a couple of turns. It was very basic, movement, some movement options, shooting. We didn't really get too deep into all of the different, like jumping and heat and how all these things work. And we left off at right in the middle of the shooting phase when I rolled a critical hit. So
of course you rolled a critical hit.
Of course, on my first roll. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is actually perfect. I wish it could have been scripted. What we're going to do tonight, actually.
Yeah, we've rolled that critical like 15 times before.
15, right. I just kept cutting it. The dice has all 6s on every side. We're like, wow. Movie magic. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk about critical hits. We're going to start there. How do they work? What do they do? What do you do? That's an essential part of the game. I really don't think you can play without it. We're going to talk about they're phenomenal. We're going to talk about heat. We're going to talk about terrain, moving up and down hills, moving into and out of forests, what they do, cover. So we're going to get into some of like the sort of the next level of this game, and then and you guys can follow along. So I would encourage you guys again, set up a game, play along. I think it's perfectly fine. If you guys have questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments. A couple of important notes, reminders. Number one, all of our quick reference stuff is available on our website at dfawargaming.com/downloads. These awesome mech packs, we have DFA Lance Packs in partnership with Aries Games Minis. You can head on over there and grab these. And then our website, we have all the cards for Alpha Strike, the stat cards basically pre-built for you, ready to download. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, and just a reminder too, remember this is Teach a Friend. I'm playing the novice player that's never played before. Aaron's introducing me, so I'm asking questions as if I've never experienced this. And that explains why I'm doing that. Or why is Tom asking these obvious questions? Well,
right.
I'm just trying to keep clean slate.
Right, yeah, and sort of, help you guys understand, like, what are some of the things we think about? Like, well, why can't I do this? Or, like, where can I come in? Or what's line of sight? Like, so, we're going to try to hit on those basic things. Again, the design here is to be very organic, as if you were teaching a new player.
And maybe new players watching this video. And, I'm trying to think about what they would want to know. So.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, guys,
Let me know how I did.
Yeah, you did. I think you're doing great. But guys, stay tuned. We're heading over to the battle grid now. We're going to pick up right where we left off.
Where you were murdering one of my mechs. I remember. Yeah, I'll never forget. See you guys in a second.
Guys, we are back on the battlefield of Tybalt, the 11th Ghost Regiment, facing off against the Swordsworn. Bitter rivals, enemies to the last here. So my Avalanche just fired a long-range shot, actually an extreme-range shot, at that Crimson Hawk, who was previously undamaged. Because I rolled a 12, that is what we call a through armor critical hit. So there's 2 times you would get a critical hit, Tom. Do you remember?
I do, actually.
Tell us.
So when I look at the card, you have armor and structure. So once your armor is exhausted, all my pips are taken. It then starts hitting my structure, and every structural pip is a chance of a critical, right?
That's right.
Is it an automatic critical or a chance of a critical?
It's a chance of a critical.
Okay.
And you only get 1 critical chance per attack. So even if you deal 4 pips of structure, still only 1 critical chance.
Got it. Okay.
The only time you would get 2 critical chances is if you roll a 12 and you hit structure, then you would get a critical chance for the 12 and also for hitting structure.
So that stacks. Okay.
That does stack.
Interesting.
But in this case, I only hit your armor. So what do you do next? Well, on our handy-dandy quick reference charts here, guys, you'll see I have a critical hit chart. You roll 2d6 just like everything else, and we're looking strictly at this mech column here. If I roll a 5 or a 9, there's no critical hit, but if anything else, bad things can happen. So if I roll a 2, I can get an ammo explosion and destroy the mech. If I roll a 12, I hit the cockpit or the critical, engine shielding and destroy the mech. Other things in here as well. So I'm going to roll 2d6, guys, and we're going to see what I get. An 8. All right, so an 8 is something good. That is a weapon hit. So what happens is Tom's going to go over to his record sheet, and Tom, you're going to mark off where, if you see in the critical hits in the bottom right, it says weapon.
And every mech has the same, these pips are the same?
Right, every mech has the same pips.
So now with the critical, I also take the damage. I take the damage, and then there's a critical effect.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I marked my pip for the one that you hit me with, and then I marked my critical.
That's right.
Okay.
Now what happens is...
Do I have to do anything?
Well, yeah, when you take a weapon hit, it's -1 damage. So that's an all range bracket. So basically...
Do you want me to mark it on the card?
I typically do.
Okay.
So, you have a 3-3-2-1, it becomes 2-2-1-0.
Now, does that ever go away during the game?
Never.
So once you get a critical effect, it's there.
It's there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cross off all these numbers and mark them down. 2, 2, 1, and then 0.
All right.
Okay.
So guys, that concludes turn 2 shooting. I've shot all my units. If you remember where we left off, I had sprinted. Tom had already shot and did some damage to my spider. So we're basically going to wrap up. We go into the end phase.
Okay.
And then we'll basically move into turn 3. Sound good?
Yeah, and so at the end phase, is there anything I need to do with my units? Mark them or any, or take away dice, or?
Well, that's a great point, Tom. Yes, we would want to clear all of these dice markers away because, again, we're done.
This all resets.
We're done shooting. Everything resets, right? All your movement mode, anything like that. The only thing that hangs around would be heat, which we have not talked about yet, but maybe we will soon. So that is basically it. So now that we're done the end phase, everything's cleared off. We're ready to go. We're going to move right into turn 3.
Right.
Okay, here we are, turn 3. So the first thing in every turn is initiative. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
All right, so here we go. I got a 9. I'm doing hot.
Oh my god. 8.
Guys, this is not what you want to do to new players. You want to make sure you roll low and let them win initiative.
Yeah, stop using those six-sided dice or whatever.
Right, the ones with 6 on every side. I'm just going to roll criticals all game. Okay, so if you remember, guys, in movement, and again, this is on our sequence of play, you pick a unit. You basically select a movement mode, you measure, and you move. Very simple. So Tom, you will pick your first unit there and move them. Who do you want to move, do you think?
Geez, I don't even know. He took a lot of...
Yeah.
He's kind of hurt. But I'll probably... I'll move my slowest unit. We'll see how that goes. I don't really know if that's a good move or not. But my Templar only moves 4, so I'm going to move him.
Okay.
And now... Oh yeah, we talked about it last video. Mm-hmm. There's no turning cost in this game.
No turning cost.
So I just want to go around this building and stay being able to shoot. So I'm just going to measure, sort of, 4 over to here.
Perfect.
And then I'll mark him with his TMM.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent.
His TMM's 1. I look at he just did a standard movement, and so it's just 1.
Just mark him. Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent work. You're getting the hang of this.
Yeah, it's actually it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, you use your markers, keep it simple.
So guys, I am going to introduce some exciting new concepts.
Dun dun dun.
We're going to talk about hills. We're going to talk about terrain in general. So guys, the battlefield here has some elevation changes. You can see we have this little rise here, this little dune. There's a little hill here in the corner as well. And so mechs can traverse these hills. They are, of course, bipedal, or some of them are quadrupeds, and they can move up and down these hillscapes. And so when you do that, it costs movement points. So essentially, what we're looking at here is in our 1-to-1 scale, and again, this is all on the reference sheet. You can see here elevation changes, and it says +1 inch. If you're looking at the raw one, it'll say +2 inches. But in our 1-to-1, it costs 1 inch extra to go up 1 level. So for my spider,
what's a level?
Okay, great question. So basically, a level in Alpha Strike is anywhere between 3/4 of an inch or an inch in elevation. Now, if you're using flat paper, you can just kind of draw, sort of concentric circles or whatever and put a number on it, 1, 2, right? Mechs can climb up 2 levels at a time, so they can go up a 2-level sheer cliff. That's the maximum.
So if it was 0-3, they could not.
They could not do that unless they had jump jets, which is a different thing, and that's something we'll get into in a little bit as well. So the spider here, right? So we have underlying terrain. This is a level 1 hill. it goes up to level 2. You can kind of see where my, where the precipice is here, the threshold of the hill. When the base of the mech crests that threshold, that's where we require the MP spend. So anyway, so if I want my spider to kind of go up here, he could move potentially 7 inches. I would spend 1 to go up. His base move is 8, remember. So I'd spend 1 to go up, right? 1 to move forward, and so on and so forth, right? So essentially, when I figure out where I want him to go, like let's say here is the general direction I want to go, I would have to subtract 1 for going up this hill.
Yeah. And you would do that so if you went up and down a hill, or 1 to 2, you pay for each of those changes in that movement arc.
That's a great point. Yes, an elevation change is up or down. So let's get some hypotheticals here. If I wanted to go, up and over this hill, right, I would need to spend 1 to go up and 1 to go down. So all I could do is 6 inches here. So, right, 1 to go up, 1 to go down, right? If I want to stay on this level 1 hill, I only need to spend to go up. I could get 7, I could get up to like here, right? I couldn't get any further than that. So, the spider also has jump jets, all right? The spider has his movement profile on the card says 8J. If you're playing with the master unit list cards with rules as written, it'll say, I believe, 16J. That means he can move, for our intents and purposes, he can move 8 inches and jump. Jumping means he ignores all the underlying terrain. I could jump over this tower, I could jump up this hill, and I could still get my full 8-inch move. Sounds great.
So why wouldn't you just do that?
Great question, Tom. I'm glad you asked. So if you look at this sequence of play here, right, and the sort of the quick reference as well, you'll see the attack mod for jumping is +2.
Oh.
Okay, so there's pros and cons to jumping. Number 1, your TMM actually increases. All right, so you become harder to hit, but it's also harder for you to hit as well. So you'll see on the quick reference it says jumped plus TMM +1. So if I jump with my spider, his TMM will go to 4, which is a benefit for me. But it's also going to be +2 for me to shoot, which is pretty awful. However, my spider does not have anything beyond medium range attacks. I don't think I'm going to be in range, so I'm actually going to jump my spider, pre-measure, we said we were around here for 8 inches, and I'm just going to jump him to here. All right, now that means his TMM is going to be 4, and I'm going to mark him. I have these little red dice right here so we know he jumped. I'm going to take one of my white dice here and flip it over to a 4. I know my spider jumped, his TMM is 4,
wow,
and that's it. All right, so we talked a little bit about going up and down hills. Again, if I were moving up this one, I would need to spend 1 and then an additional 2 inches, right? So again, every time you go up, it's just an extra inch. So what I like to do is I just try to measure where I want to go, right? And I then measure I check the elevation changes and then deduct that from the maximum movement and see where it puts me. That's kind of the easiest way to think about it.
Yeah.
But that's it, Tom. That's what I'm going to do. So guys, what we're going to do, we talked a little bit about the hills. We saw these forests over here, these barren wastelands. We'll talk about those later as well. But essentially, we're going to keep moving here, and we'll be back at the end of the movement phase. All right, guys, here we are. We're back. End of movement on turn 3, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? I'll just recap here. My dragon sprinted, continuing his movement along this side. He really doesn't have great range. And then we've got my Tenchi, an assault mech. He is just moving up the middle there. And my avalanche sprinting out to the woods there. Well, actually not sprinting, I'm sorry. Just doing a standard move out to the right side there on the forest flank. Yeah. And then the spider, we talked about that. So Tom, what do you have going on here?
Yeah, so the Templar, again, has good range, so I walked him. I walked the Mad Cat, and he's actually, I think, in medium now. And Monkey See, Monkey Do, I took my Crimson Hawk and jumped him. And even though I'm a novice player, it's pretty intuitive that, my shooting is impacted and I'm already hurt, so I jumped him to get the TMM up.
Smart.
I saw you do that.
Yeah.
You explained it to me, and I realized that it's a good move for my unit as well.
Yeah, great defensive play. And then what do we got here? Way out here.
Yeah, the Centurion. I sprinted him again through the back because I saw you going for those woods. I don't know. It seems like it's a good
good defensive position, perhaps.
Yeah,
right.
very, very like basic concepts that are shared among war games are sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
The flanking maneuver.
Right, yeah. You know.
All right, so Tom, because you once again lost initiative, the Swordsworn, you need to shoot first.
Okay. Well, and again, sort of just like I mentioned around keeping organized here. I typically like to start on one end and move over.
Yes.
Unless there's a reason not to, but so my Centurion, I sprinted him. He cannot shoot.
Right.
His turn is done.
Well, so one thing I want to point out about that, right? So initially, new player Tom did a walk move to about here with the intention, Tom, of shooting the avalanche, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I want to call that out real quick because as we're playing these games with new players, there should always be takebacks, right? Because they don't understand the rules. What new player Tom didn't understand, and what your new player might understand, is you actually can't see through a certain depth of woods.
Yeah.
All right. So on the quick reference sheet, right, it'll tell you that anything beyond, greater than 3 inches of forest. You just don't have line of sight.
And that's under the cover and terrain section?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So
if I measure this, and how do I measure the woods?
So the way we do it is we just measure sort of the outside base edge of the forest to kind of create a perimeter. Now some people will cut out like a template, but this we just sort of measure, so you would say like the edge is here and there, and you would kind of measure across.
And that's like 5 inches.
Right.
So that's way too much.
Right, because and again, in the 1-to-1 scale, 3 inches. In the normal 2-to-1 scale, it's 6 inches.
And that's right. Your unit can't shoot me either, right?
That's right. That's mutual. That's a great point. So woods are sort of progressive cover, and this is an interesting thing here about forests that sets them apart from some of the other pieces of terrain on the board. So
like buildings are they block everything.
That's right.
Okay.
Like you can either see partially or you see nothing.
And that weapon types too, like lasers don't shoot through buildings or anything?
Yeah, there's nothing specific to weapon types. The one thing you can do is indirect fire, which is a special ability. We'll probably cover that a little bit later. Maybe next turn or later in the game, you'll want to do that with that Centurion. But, so the Centurion did, after we talked about that, Tom obviously switched his movement up to a sprint and got that extra couple of inches there. So that Centurion not shooting.
Yep.
So.
And we talked through the rest of them. So, and I lost initiative. I'm going to shoot first. Okay, and so I started on the left, cannot shoot, so I'll move on to my Templar. The Templar, so again, just intuitively I see the TMM as a 4 on that spider, and he's at long range still, I think, and that would be a high number. But the Tenshi, right?
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, this is a 1 here.
Okay, and he's already?
Cheating already.
Yeah, I gotta check his dice. He like drew extra pips onto the ones. It's a 3 now. So it's probably at the same range bracket. So I'm gonna shoot at the Tenshi with my Templar. I'll measure the range to the front of the base, and he's at 22.
Okay.
So he's just over long. He's at extreme, but that's fine. So I'll do my. I verified line of sight, firing arc. I determined the range. It's extreme. So now I'll go to my my Sador. So my skill is a 3. My attacker mod is a 0. The target mod is a 1.
Just a 1.
Nothing other, and then range is a 4.
Correct.
So that's 3, 4, and then 8, right?
Yeah, that's it.
3, 1, 4. Okay.
All right, and so you have how many points of damage?
At extreme for the Templar, it's 2. So I
Okay.
have 2 rolls. Okay. So I need an 8 or better.
Sounds good.
7.
All right, so nothing happens.
I shoot myself.
Yeah, right. So on Snake Eyes, unlike the double sixes, on Snake Eyes nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
You don't.
Can you never hit though? Is that a thing?
There's an optional rule for that. We don't play.
Okay.
So
you can still hit. So if it was somehow a 2,
or less, yeah.
I could potentially hit. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Typically, if the target number is somehow 2 or less, you automatically hit. You don't even need to roll. Yeah. Moving on now.
Yeah, my Crimson Hawk jumped, so this is going to be a hard shot, but I can always try. I'll measure. I'll go for a long shot, whatever.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to measure, and I am at 10 inches.
Right. There's really no harm in shooting.
Yeah. And so the 10 inches makes me in medium, because medium is up to 12 inches.
Yep.
So I'll get, and I have that critical shot, so I'm only doing 2. So now let me figure out my Sador. So my skill is still a 3. My attacker mod, that's where I add from jumping.
That's right.
+2. And
Right, so in this case there is an attacker mod, very good for jumping.
Okay, so that's 5. The target mod is 4.
4.
That's a 9.
Yeah.
And then range is...
Sure, medium range.
Medium +2.
So all you need is just an easy 11.
An easy 11. Okay, so I got 2 rolls to make an 11.
Now, is that with the weapon hit still? He's a medium range, does 2?
Yeah, that's right, because he was at 3.
Okay,
yeah.
Very good, very good. You're on top of it. Oh my gosh, this is BS.
So,
all right, so the spider takes a point of damage, at least. Can Tom double down?
Ooh.
All right.
No good.
So I go to my
Still 1
spider.
point.
It is 1 point, and actually he is stripped of armor now. So I had 2 pips. I'm going to mark that 3rd. That means any damage that spider takes will be in the structure. Yes.
Okay, and so I'll move on to the Mad Cat. Now, interestingly, because of that, I think I'm going to shoot at the spider with the Mad Cat because I could potentially get a crit.
Well, I would also like to...
Should I not?
You can.
Okay.
Well, I won't tell you where to and to not shoot, but I would also like to point out that now that you're in medium range, you can use your overheat ability. All right, so this is one of the first abilities we'll talk about is OV, and there's an OVL. None of the units that we are playing with have OVL. If you have OVL, it means you can overheat at long and extreme range.
And
if you have OV...
And on the card, it's next to the heat scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one has OV1. That means you can take on a point of heat to try for an extra point of damage.
Okay, so if I'm in medium at 5, I would then roll 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So,
okay.
I mean, that is going to be really good. So the spider has 2 pips left. You know, again, considering we're playing that multiple attack roll, it might be a good idea. What do you think? You think you're going to overheat?
So one thing so just like jumping, there's a benefit and a detriment. What's the detriment to is there any downside to overheating?
Great question. So next turn, what will happen is there will be a little bit of a penalty to you. So up here on our reference sheet time, you'll see heat effects. So for 1 point of heat, your target number will go up by 1. That means whatever you need to roll to hit, you're going to add another 1. So if you needed, for example, a 7 to hit next turn, it would become an 8.
How much heat does it take to overheat?
To shut down?
It's 1 to 1? No, I mean so I have overheat 1. That means I can accumulate 1 heat on my...
Exactly.
Okay, so then I would just look at...
Yeah. Yep. And then, the other things that happen is your TMM can go down as you accumulate more heat, and your move is reduced as well. Now,
so it gets harder to hit, easier to hit me, and I slow down.
That's right.
Potentially. Okay.
Potentially, right.
Well,
and
I'm already in medium, so...
Yeah, and so let's talk about how you get rid of heat.
Okay.
So there's a couple ways. One, we don't have any water on this, or water, depending on what part of the world you're from. On this,
Agua.
Yeah, no, right. Depending. So there's nothing on this map. But if there were water, you could stand in it and cool down. I believe there's also deep snow and some of the advanced rules and other good stuff.
So unlike critical that you never get rid of, you can get rid of heat.
That's right. You can get rid of heat. So water is the first way. That's a little bit more complex. The easiest thing to do is just not shoot.
Okay.
And if you don't shoot, you bleed off all of your heat in that turn. So, for example, if you have 3 points of heat and you decide, I'm not going to shoot, the next turn, at that end phase, basically, you remove all of your heat.
Wow. Okay.
And all those penalties go away. Yeah, so...
And so if I had overheat 2 or 3, can I just take 1, or do I always have to take all 3?
No, you can do as little or as much as you like.
Okay, so
yep.
I'm only overheat 1, but I think I'm going to do it. It sounds like fun.
Just go for it.
When do I mark? Should I mark the heat scale now?
I think you should mark it now. And actually, sometimes what we'll do is we'll put a dice on the mech as well, which maybe we'll do at the end of the turn here to mark them up so we remember. But yes, so now you get 6 damage against this poor spider.
So I didn't measure my range, but I know that he's going to be he's under 10. Okay. So I am in medium. So let's do Satyr. So he's a 3. The attacker mod is 0 because I walked. Target mod is 4, so I'm at a 7. There's no other, and then range is a medium, so 2. So that is a 9.
It's a 9.
So I have 6 chances to get a 9.
What you need, if you get 2 9s, Tom, it's destroyed.
Okay.
But yes, so you're looking for at least 2 9s. You're rolling 6 times. This is what we call an alpha strike, where you're just shooting every weapon on the mech. So 5 misses. Uh-oh.
Got a 9.
All right, so that's 1 point of damage. Now remember, you're in structure, so it's going to be a critical hit chance as well.
Should I do that now or
let's just roll all the damage first, and then
because I might just kill him?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not going to do it with it.
All right, so you have 3 more remaining chances. Oh, 2 more remaining chances. Can you do it, Tom?
Oh, so close.
Got it. All right, so
I killed my
good
first
thing you
mech.
overheated, so that spider is destroyed. But just for posterity and learning experience, let's roll the critical hits up just to see what would happen. I'll let you roll it up.
So now, how do I roll? I just rolled D12.
You rolled 2d6, and you got the chart there on your left side.
This critical hit
and you're
chart.
looking at the mech column.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So even though you dealt multiple structure, you would only get 1 crit.
I rolled a 6.
It would be a weapon.
A weapon hit. Okay.
But again, the mech is destroyed.
Yeah. So when do I get to smash the mech with a hammer? Is that now or at the end of the game?
Yeah, after the game. Yeah. Never. That is not how this game works, folks. So this mech is going to be destroyed, but interestingly enough, the question is semi-germane. The mech actually isn't destroyed until the end phase.
Right.
So I will still get to shoot back with my spider.
Yeah.
All right.
But now you would mark the damage, right?
That's right.
Just so
I would mark it on my card, which I'll do in a second here, and I'm going to
now,
scratch off those remaining pips. That spider is toast.
And if I had done a critical, that doesn't affect you to the next turn?
Correct.
It's not immediate.
Great point.
Okay.
Yeah, so any critical hits that you sustain in the combat phase of, turn 1 don't actually take effect until the next turn 2, for example, right?
So I'm not going to call you out when you don't take your weapon.
Yes, exactly, right. Good point, yeah. So there's really no no adverse effects on the spider.
And that was my last mech. And now, since I destroyed you, can I retarget somebody with my 1 remaining die? Or no?
You cannot.
Okay.
So actually, I think you rolled all 6, but that's a great question. Let's say you had leftover damage.
I say I only rolled 5.
All right, so you can't retarget it at that point. However, before you shoot, there are rules for secondary targets. It's a little bit of an advanced rule. So if you wanted to shoot multiple targets, again, simple concept, a little bit of an advanced rule. What you would want to do is you would want to decide, how many dice you want to shoot at each target. So let's say you're overheating and both of your targets are at medium range. You'd say I want to shoot 3 at the spider and 3 at the, the tenchi, assuming they're both at medium. Even if they're at different ranges, that's fine, but there's some math involved if you're, again, advanced rule. But let's assume 2 targets at medium range. You just split up the dice and you roll them, There is a +1 modifier, so if we go down to here, you'll see secondary target +1. So there is a +1 modifier for that secondary target.
Only the secondary, not the primary?
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So the benefit is just that. So if you only had 2 pips left.
And it was a much easier target number. Like, let's say you only needed 5s to hit him or something.
Got it. Okay, I get
then
that.
you might want to split your fire up.
Yeah,
that might make sense.
Okay, well, hey, that was a good turn.
Well, I still got to shoot. So
a good phase.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Trying to cheat me out of my shooting here. Let's start with this spider. So he's going to shoot at the Crimson Hawk. Okay, he's going to try to get some sweet retribution before he ejects from his battle mech. Now again, skill 3. He's got an attack mod of 2. That's 5. The Crimson Hawk is at a 3. That's 8. And then it's a medium range, 9, 10. So I need 10s to hit. The spider has 2 points of damage. Can I get anything? There's 1.
Okay.
And just 1. So 1 more point of damage on that Crimson Hawk. That's the spider's last stand.
So still armor.
Still in armor, no structure,
yeah.
No critical hit. Okay. So this Tenchi, going to try to do the same thing here. This Tenchi is at long range to the Crimson Hawk. So the Tenchi is going to need 3, 6, 9 to hit. I have 5 damage at long range. So here we go. Ugh. There we go. 1, 2. So 2 points of damage on the Crimson Hawk.
Okay, so that the second pip is in the structure. So
okay.
Oh, he's blown up. Actually, he only had 1 structure.
He only has 1 structure.
Yeah. So do you even roll a crit? Why? Yeah.
I wouldn't need to. He's dead, right?
He's dead,
so
right? Okay.
That is that guy. So that Crimson Hawk and the spider They meet their makers, both trying to jump to stay alive this turn, but not happening. The last thing that I have to shoot is that avalanche, and I did pre-measure this. He is at extreme range, just outside of long, to that Mad Cat 3.
Okay.
And so, again, this is where firing order you were asking earlier, where it might matter, you know, and this is why the advantage kind of goes, like I can kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, that avalanche is going to shoot. It's a 3, 4, 5, and then
and maybe if I hadn't have killed him, you wouldn't be so aggressive, or
exactly, right? So no good.
Okay.
All right, so I needed a 9. I got a 5. That avalanche misses again at extreme range, but that's it, guys. That wraps up turn 3. So we talked
the end phase.
Oh, the end phase. Tom, you're teaching me. Now the student has become the master. All right, so you're right. So the end phase. So let's talk about it.
You actually move the destroyed people off the board?
You can do that.
Okay.
You know, when we play our battle reports, of course, we put smoke on them and make it look real cool. But honestly, the easiest thing to do is to just remove those destroyed mechs right off the table and get them off the table edge. The other thing is, we'll flip the card over.
Yeah, that's what I typically do, right?
Yeah. And that way, you don't accidentally forget that has happened in the past.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure it's happened somewhere.
Nobody shut down.
Nobody shut down. That Mad Cat does take 1 point of heat, and we'll mark him up with I use a translucent red numbered dice, which we'll throw down in just a minute. But that is it. So guys, when we come back for the next turn, turn 4, maybe we'll talk a little bit about forests and maneuvering through there, and how that will impact cover. And we'll just keep playing through this. Hopefully, so far, you're getting the hang of this. So stay tuned. Turn 4 is coming right up. All right, guys, we are back. It's turn 4. So as always, the beginning of every turn, we do a little initiative. So maybe I'll lose one. Probably not. It's an 8. Oh! Tom
12.
gets a 12. So that means the 11th Ghost Regiment do need to make the first move here. So what I'm going to do, guys, so I'm going to talk about moving into the forest. I'm going to move this avalanche into the woods. Now, the way forest works, if you look here on our handy-dandy reference sheet, you'll see on the movement penalties here, when we're moving in woods, it's +1 inch. Now, there are optional rules for heavy woods and jungle and all this stuff. They're just basic woods, right, that we play with here. So for every inch that I move in this forest, it actually is going to cost me effectively 2 inches of movement. Okay. Now my avalanche does have a base move of 5. He is 3 inches, if we can see that, maybe 2 inches from the edge of the forest there. So that means I could get another inch into the woods, right? Yeah. So essentially, or if I wanted to move here, let me zoom out a little bit here for you guys. So the 3 inches to basically this, and again, we're kind of drawing a line here. So if I want to get further in, I could go 3 inches to there, and then that extra inch into the woods is going to cost me 2 because it's in the forest, right? So it's a +1 for going into the forest, right? So it's 3, 4, 5, and I'll get my avalanche right to here. Now, remember, I can turn to face him any way I want. I'm going to just face him this way. Now, the benefits of the woods are this. When I'm shooting into or out of the woods, if there's woods in between me and my targets, let's say I wanted to shoot that Mad Cat during my turn, there is some woods in between me and the Mad Cat. There would be a penalty for me shooting out, but also the Mad Cat shooting at the avalanche, there would be a penalty too. But we'll see what shakes out. So that's my first
And
move.
he's probably still, it looks like, too deep into the woods for me to shoot him from this side.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great point. So he would
inches.
still be protected from that Centurion under most circumstances.
Because he's 3.
Mark him with his TMN. Now, Tom, it's your turn, so you get to select a unit, anyone you want,
Okay.
and you can move them. We are down to 3 units each.
I think the Mad Cat is going to move over here.
Okay, excellent. So guys, we're just going to keep moving here, and then we'll be right back for shooting. All right, so we finished up movement. I'll tell you what I did here. So again, we talked about the avalanche moving into the woods, learned something new about the forest. The dragon just moved on open ground here to this part here, Tenchi, standard move there. I was going to try to move the Tenchi up on the hill, but guys, remember, it costs an additional inch for each elevation change up or down per level. And the Tenchi did not have enough movement to make it both to the hill and get up it, so I kind of had to go around the outside of the hill there. Tom, what about you? What do you have going on?
Yeah, so I stood my Centurion still to give him cover.
Okay.
Then I, again, just normal walked my Templar up, and I brought the Mad Cat over to try to give him some cover against the dragon.
Excellent. So guys, interesting thing here. So stationary. This is a benefit and a curse at the same time. So when you are stationary, you can move within an inch. So you move basically the mech's moving extremely slow. So anything...
Can I get a take back then? I'm just going to pull him a little bit further back. So
Perfect.
There's no chance of anybody shooting him.
Excellent. All right, so that's good. So see how Tom just moved them basically like a quarter of an inch there. That still counts as stationary. However, you don't get a TMM. Because you didn't move far enough, your mech gets basically a TMM of 0 on that. So if you look at that quick reference, you do get a 0 for your target modifier.
Oh,
so,
I just thought that meant there's no change. So that means it's actually 0.
Correct. So when you're stationary, 0 TMM, but you get -1 to your total satyr, your target number. So basically, it's easier for you to hit because you're standing still, but it's also easier to get hit. So sort of the corollary to jumping, if you will. So still, I think a pretty good move there for you. So we're all done, and we're ready to go. Now, I have to shoot all of my units first. All right, so basically, we're going to rip through this real quick here. Everybody's going to be shooting the Mad Cat. We're going to start with the Avalanche, then go to the Tenchi, and then we're going to do something a little special here with that dragon. So, are you ready to learn?
Oh, yeah.
So, this Avalanche here. So we are at 20 inches, we pre-measured from that Mad Cat Mark III, and, or I'm sorry, Mark IV, actually.
Mark IV.
Mark IV. So we are long range, that's going to be 2 points of damage, and again, I'm shooting through the woods, so that's a +1. So let's not forget that when we get to the other. So when we think about my Satyr, it's 3, standard move is 0, so 3, 4, 5, 6 for the woods, and then at long range, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So I need 2 9s. I get 2 opportunities. 1 miss. 2 misses. All right, so both shots go wide. That Mad Cat still in good shape. Tom, what is the distance? Would you be so kind to measure between the Tenchi and the Mad Cat? I did not get a chance to do that. So 14. 13, 14. Yeah. So it's still going to be long range, unfortunately, but that's okay. The Tenchi does 5 at both. I know, it's brutal. Both medium and long. So we have 5 chances here to hit that Mad Cat, and we're at long range again. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 8s here because there's nothing in the way, nothing going on the attack command. So I need 8s. I get 5 chances. 2. Oh, come on. So my Tenchi pilot obviously distracted or hitting the whiskey too hard in the morning.
Yeah, he's texting and driving, texting and piloting.
Texting and piloting. Never do that, guys. Never text and pilot. So the Tenchi here, not doing so well. He missed that Mad Cat. Now, teach you something new here. This dragon. This dragon has artillery, an Arrow 4 system. So interesting thing about the dragon. You'll notice it has very low damage values, but it also packs artillery. You can shoot and also fire the artillery as well.
So what does that mean?
So
what is artillery?
So artillery is a special ability, all right? And when you're using artillery, there's all sorts of options, and I would really encourage everyone to read the rules on this. But essentially what you do is the artillery can actually shoot across the board. You can shoot up to, third, you basically shoot the whole board with it. No range limitations. But the artillery has like a flat modifier, +4. There's no range modifier to it, it's just +4.
Do you need line of sight or anything?
You do need line of sight.
Okay.
If you want to fire directly. You can fire indirectly, which is a different ability. Yeah. You can do either with the artillery. So indirect fire, guys, is when you do not have line of sight. So Tom, when you get to your turn, for example, your Centurion, which I believe has the indirect fire ability.
It does, yeah. IF1.
It can shoot indirectly at the Avalanche even though it can't see it. As long as somebody else can see it and spot for him.
Or the Tenchi.
or you could indirect fire at the Tenchi too. The other thing is with artillery, it's a little complicated, but you can fire at a target or you can fire at an area. All right, so it's called point of impact. So for example, if you have a very fast-moving mech or vehicle, sometimes it just works out easier to just aim at a spot on the ground and blast it versus trying to hit that.
Is there a difference in like the hit penalty for that?
There is.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's easier to hit the ground than it is the mech?
In some cases, it would be.
Is there a difference in the amount of damage it does?
There is not. There is not.
So why wouldn't you always just hit the ground?
Because some mechs are slow enough that it's more beneficial, or some units are slow enough that it's more beneficial to just direct fire.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy, I know. So basically the way it works here is I have my Satyr, so 3. His TMM, 4/5. Obviously I have no attacker mod because it's just standard ground move. Then I had a flat +4. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Do I get cover?
tell me.
You're about 40-50% covered from me.
So in order
check
to
from your
determine
cockpit.
cover here, guys, we would want to get down to the model's eye view and see if 33% of that madcap is covered. And I'm going to say it's not. Just the lower legs are covered.
Okay.
So not enough to claim the partial cover bonus. So partial cover happens when the mech is between 33 and 66% covered. So between 1/3 and 2/3 of the mech are covered. Anything more than 2/3, you can't even shoot at it. It's considered fully obscured. So in this case, we have no cover. So again, need a 3, 4, 5, and then that flat +4 is a 9 is what I need to hit. So here we go. So that misses.
How many shots do you get with artillery?
Just the one, unless, so it'll say on the card, actually. So in this case, you'll see, guys, it says, depending on if you can see this or not, I may flash it up on the screen separately as a graphic, but it says Art AIS 1. So that means artillery, arrow, and then inner sphere version, and then 1 means it just gets 1 shot. If it said -2 or -3, then you might get
Same as like
shots.
overheat, or
Right,
even
there's a
indirect
number
fire.
after it exactly, and that tells you what you need to do. So my artillery did miss. Okay, so because I missed on artillery, Tom, the other thing is that artillery can scatter.
Okay.
So whether you shoot the ground or you shoot the target directly, indirect fire, whatever. If you miss, the artillery has a chance to hit something else. It's a big missile.
And you shot at my mech, not the
I shot
ground.
directly right at your mech. So the way it works is it scatters 1d6 inches. And if you are, playing by the normal 2-to-1
Up to
raw
12.
rules, you multiply it by 2. But since we're playing 1-to-1, you just take the d6 dice roll. Now they have a template where you roll another dice to determine which direction it goes. We just use this scatter die, which is a Games Workshop thing, or you can also buy there like on eBay and stuff like that. So here we go. All right, so we follow the little black arrow, and it's going 3 inches off to the side, right? And it goes out here. It's just a 1-inch blast, so it's not going to hit.
You're building
that.
a tunnel.
That's right. I just decimate some ground there, but nothing too exciting.
Does it create rubble or anything like
happen
that?
there? Nope, no,
Okay.
Nothing along those lines. Of course, if you want to play with those rules, feel free. But yeah, that's it. That is it there. So the dragon fired its artillery, but I can still shoot with my my regular weapons here. So, and if you're wondering, Tom, because I know that you are, if I wanted to shoot the artillery at one target and the his lasers and autocannons at another, that's viable as well. Cool. But of course, it would suffer that secondary target penalty and all the rules around that, which you can find in the Commander's Edition. So I am at what did we say? We're at 14 inches.
Yeah.
So I'm at long range. This dragon, you can see, has only 1 point of damage. So I'm going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness! What an awful round of shooting.
This is a beginner game.
This is it. This is it.
Super bad rolling on an entire turn.
Yes.
Sounds like a beginner game.
Here we are on the side of the Federated Suns, Swordsworn. Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start off with the Centurion. Again, I like to stay consistent. So the Centurion's going to indirect fire.
Ooh.
He's got the IF1
Okay.
rule
Yeah, the special ability there.
at the Tenshi.
Ah, okay.
So what do I do? How does indirect fire work?
So, if we get down to model's eye view, you can see the Centurion cannot see the Tenshi. So that means somebody needs to be spotting, right? Calling in the coordinates. So you need to select a unit that will be spotting, and the spotter will take a penalty. Now, if you
And
want
that's
that,
the only reason
right?
to like, there's no difference between which
No,
one.
because they can both see the tenchi, and so there's no issue there.
Okay. And range doesn't matter for the spotter either?
Nope, range has to come from, you measure range for the attack from the unit attack.
Okay.
And so the range would come from the Centurion.
I'm going to target and I'm also going to shoot.
And the Mad Cat's going to be doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's, so
what does the Centurion take?
So the Centurion has, if we look here on the quick reference down here, you'll see that there is indirect fire.
So plus one. So that would go under like the other in the Sador?
Correct.
Okay.
And the spotter is attacking, so it's +1. Okay.
Okay, so it's plus
So +2 for this this unit.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to do, so it'll be a +2. Okay, so his base skill is 3. The attacker mod
Is -1 because he's stationary.
is stationary, so I'm at a 2. Target mod is a 1.
So you're back at a 3.
Other,
It's 2
5.
more. Yep. So 1 for indirect fire, and 1 because your spotter is also shooting.
Yeah.
So you're
and,
at
then,
5.
and then range. Who do I measure range from?
So you're going to measure range from the Centurion to the Tenchi. What do you think, like 15 inches maybe?
Yep.
Right on the nose. So so that would be long range.
So
So that's
6,
an additional
7, 8.
+3.
So
Yeah.
an 8.
All right, not bad. So an 8. So if you hit an 8, you will get 1 point of damage here. Nothing.
I'm going to re-roll. No, I'm kidding.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a miss. Now moving on to
The Templar?
the Templar.
I'm going to overheat,
Tom is feeling good now.
and I'm going to do, so I'll do 4 to the Tenchi as well.
4 to the Tenchi, okay.
So they're at 13 inches, I think. I'll measure. Yeah, just over 13.
All right,
so it's
medium,
long.
so long range, yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
So he's a 3, 4.
And then he walked, right? So
Yeah.
so you're at 4, and then range 5, 6, 7.
7. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Just trying to remember the 3. So a 7. And I got 4 chances.
All right, here it goes.
1.
All right. Two. 3 points of damage on that Tenchi. So well done by the Templar.
Next up is the Mad Cat. So I had already overheated, so I can't do it again, right?
No, you certainly can.
And I can go to 2.
You can go to 2 if you want.
And what's the penalty for heat again?
So at 1 point of heat,
Right up here, right?
You're just at you're +1. You're +1 TN, and you're at -1 movement, which you had already factored in, and so just at this point it's just a -1 to the movement.
I'm a beginner player. I'm going hard. But
You're going hot. Go hot or go home. All right.
I'll go up to the 2 on the heat scale.
Okay.
And I'm at long range, so I'll also do 4.
You're at long to the Tenchi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically the same.
Yeah.
So again, 3. And then 4 for your modifier.
Yep.
I take a +1.
5 for your heat,
Yep. 5 for my heat.
and then 6, 7, 8 for range.
8 for range.
Okay.
I got 4 shots.
Yeah. All right. Here it goes.
Starting out strong.
Love it.
2.
Looking good.
Oh.
So close. All right. So.
One more?
Yeah. You got 1 more. That's right. You overheated again. Crazy man.
Oh, so close.
So close. All right, so 2 more points of damage to that Tenchi. It is still not through the armor. If you come over here and look, it's got quite a bit there. It is a big mech, but still chipping away there at the paint. Obviously, things getting intense here. So, Tom, I believe you're done, right? You shot with everything.
That's everything.
So, in the end phase, we remove destroyed units, which there are none. We restart any shutdown units, which there are none. We'll clear off our dice, and we'll get ready for turn 5. All right, guys, we're back. It's turn 5. We're going to roll initiative here. Let's see what we got. 7 for me, 7 for Tom. So what happens on a tie, Tom? We just re-roll.
Yeah.
Just like Monopoly. I don't know. Do you roll initiative in Monopoly? I'm not sure. I got a 6. You got a 7. Okay, so Tom, the sword sworn on a roll. That means
The tide is turning.
Tide is turning, so I need to move here. So guys, we kind of talked about all the different movement modes, right? Standard move, jump, sprinting, stationary, the pros and cons of all of these things. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move off camera, and we'll be right back for the shooting phase. We'll talk about some more of that exciting stuff that we can do here. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, guys, here we are. Things are heating up. We moved. So I backed my dragon up. Tom, you asked us earlier about direction, right? You can just move them straight backwards. I just measured 4 inches.
Can you run or sprint or no?
You can sprint in whatever direction
because then you just turn around.
That you just turn right around. Exactly.
Very different from classic.
Very different from a classic BattleTech.
Well, I've heard. I've never played it, but I've heard about this.
So you're very convincing. Hollywood is calling. I moved my Tenchi forward in the gauntlet here, and I moved my Avalanche out of the forest. But
guess what?
Tom hard countered me.
This is WWF, man. Whoa, pop, pop, pop. We're going for it.
So Tom, getting into base-to-base contact, guys, what does that mean? I'll tell you. 1, I can't shoot you. You can't shoot me.
Okay.
2, you can punch, kick, bite, charge, do all sorts of physical scratch. Any sort of physical attacking can be done at that range when you're basically that close. So what did you do with your other guys over here? So it looks like your Mad Cat stood still.
Yeah, because he's at a 2 heat penalty, so the modifier is so high.
Yeah, smart to offset. The heat does get debilitating, and then your Templar pushing forward as well.
Yeah, he's moving. We're in closer range now.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah. Okay, so because I lost initiative, I do need to shoot first here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot everything at your Mad Cat. All right, so the Tenchi is within medium range, if I do believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
if you measure that.
We're just at 12, I think.
Yeah, we're just there.
11.
Okay, so again, 3, you have no TMM, and I'm at medium range, so I really only need 5s to hit you.
Okay.
Okay. And at this range, I have 5 attacks. So 1, 2, 3.
What were these rolls last turn?
4 points of damage. Wow, the Tenchi, no longer texting and driving, deals 4 to that Mad Cat Mark IV.
Okay.
So still not through the armor. That is
first hits, it's taken.
That's a meaty mech right there. So the dragon is going to attack again with first its artillery and then just long range damage. Actually, I'll just do the long range first here.
Now do I get cover? Because it looks like I get cover now. Oh. What was that for? The artillery?
That was for this long range attack. So that's going to be a critical hit.
Okay.
I'm rolling hot here. Yeah. And let's see what I get. 9, guys. Guys.
Nothing, huh?
That's nothing. I just punch a hole right through your armor. I hit your snack cabinet.
Oh, my taquitos! My Takis!
All right, so remember, the dragon also has that artillery attack.
Yeah.
So I need a 3, no TMM. I need a 7. Here we go.
Ooh, I thought you had that when I saw the
You must be kidding me, Tom. You must be kidding me. All right, we're going to scatter this puppy.
Now I'm almost close enough you could maybe hit him.
Oh goodness gracious. It's going.
Actually, how close are you? Oh,
no, it was this.
I'm just saying
this way. I could have potentially bounced into that Templar, but no, went the wrong direction. Nothing there. That's unbelievable. All right, so that dragon now who's texting and driving, and then lastly my Avalanche.
He's reading the text that the Tenchi sent him, laughing.
It took a turn. It took a turn for the text to get there. It's very slow network around these parts of the planet.
We've got to go past the government censors first.
It's true. Well, wait. The House Draconis Combine hasn't taken over the planet. It's
probably
yet, so you're still freedom of speech. So the Avalanche shooting at that Mad Cat, 2 points of damage.
Wait, so you can still shoot and punch? Or
well,
you're shooting?
I'm not punching you.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to.
I can shoot out. I just cannot shoot you.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Or when I say you, I mean the Centurion. Yeah. I imagine Tom is driving the Centurion, but I'm shooting the Mad Cat. Yeah. So I missed the first attack, and the second one was an 8. That is going to be a hit. Okay. So another point of damage on that Mad Cat. And sorry, I'm doing math in my head, guys. So remember, 3 for the skill. Nothing because he's stationary, so no TMM, and then that's it. 3 for range, so just needed 6s rather to hit there. So that's that.
Nice.
All right, so Tom, we're going to come over to your side of the table and we'll see what the Sword Sworn can do.
I'm going to punch him.
Cockpit smash.
Slap him.
Yeah, let's do it.
Backhand him. Whap.
So the way it works is just a normal satyr, right?
Yeah.
So skill and all these other things.
Okay. That's all the same?
It's all the same.
So it would be a 3, 0, 2, so 5.
Right. So,
Ready?
will you crush him? You do it.
I do.
All right, so that's 2 points of damage to that avalanche. That is brutal. So,
could you overheat and get 2 punches?
you can. That's a great question. But you cannot use your overheat on melee attacks. So, guys, remember when you're marking damage, I took 2 points. This avalanche is fresh, so I simply just, with my awful left hand drawing here, I just scribble out 2 pips there.
Okay. Okay, next up is a Templar. I'm going to shoot. I'm just going to measure real quick. I want to make sure. So he's under 11 inches, which means he is in medium.
Very nice.
And he would also be in medium to him.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to fire at the little guy.
All right, you're just going to keep going at him?
Yeah.
So this guy has only 3 pips of armor left.
Right.
So you could, I think the Templar does how much at medium? 4?
And I'm going to...
Are you doing it? Going hot or going home?
Yeah, these guys are... This is an aggressive lance. These are known for being a little reckless.
Nicknamed the Hotheads.
Yeah, the hotheads. Yeah, you can see. I mean, look how overheated their barrels are.
Oh, yeah,
they got heat patina on them.
That's
from
pretty
how
sweet.
often they shoot.
It's a pretty great paint job.
It's an excellent paint job. Thank you for noticing.
So there we go. So firing at the avalanche.
So remember, he had heat penalty, so his skill is 3. His attacker mod's going to be +1 from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at a 4. The target mod is a 2, so I'm at 6. And then at medium, it's +2, so I'm going to be an 8.
That's exactly
I
right.
get 5 attacks at 8.
Okay. Oh boy.
There you go.
There's one.
There's one.
There's 2.
That was the 4th, I think.
Oh, that's 2 points, and that's the 4th one. That's right. You have 1 more to roll.
7 again.
All right. So 2 points for that avalanche.
Yeah. Again, 2 heat, but he's going to shoot at the, what's it called, the avalanche?
Oh, that guy. You're shooting that dude. You're picking on him.
Yeah, I mean, I did 2 damage.
All right. He does only have 1 point of armor left. So if you deal 2, you're going to get into the structure.
Yeah, and so the Mad Cat at long range does 3. So let's do the Sailor. So he's a 3. My attacker mod is going to be 2. So he's at a 5. But then he goes down 1 for standing still.
Got it.
So I'm at a 4.
Okay.
The target mod is a 2, so I'm at 6. And then range is +3.
Very good. Okay.
So 9.
9. Got it. So you need 9s. 2 points of damage gets you a critical hit.
7's not going to do it. 3's not going to do it. 1 more. Just strip his armor. Come on. Oh, man. It's a hard shot.
It's a hard shot. Well, the avalanche lives to fight another day. So that wraps up shooting. So we go to the end phase. No destroyed units. We got the heat on those mechs. So we're just going to go right into turn 6 here.
I guess I'll leave that heat there.
All right, here we are, turn 6. Tom, you ready?
Yep.
I got a 6.
Oh.
Another tie. Here we go. I got a 9. What is happening?
Amazing.
All right. I got a 6.
Oh,
you got
gotcha
an 11. All right, so Tom, the Swordsworn win initiative. That means I need to move. Okay, so we went over movement a couple times, but just as a reminder, guys, you're going to look at your unit card. I'm going to start with the Avalanche here. And so I would say 5J. So remember, that means the Avalanche has jump jets. And so what I want to try to do is outmaneuver this Centurion here. So when I have jump jets, I can go anywhere I want. And if you're wondering, yeah, I could go on top of this building here. I could do it. I could go behind the building. I could go around the back side of the building. I could go wherever I want. I could jump all the way into the forest here. The only thing I can't do is jump over obstacles that are more than 5 inches in height, because that is the limit of my vertical
Conveniently,
capability.
those trees are only 4.
Well, so forests count as basically level 3.
Yeah.
So you can, well, at least we play them as level 3. I think standard is level 2, but you can, you know, obviously change that.
Except for there's that one planet that's all redwoods.
It's all level 9 trees.
All 40 feet tall. You know?
All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to measure here, and I'm going to actually jump my avalanche back to the other side of this forest, try to keep them safe from that Centurion. So remember, smack talking is a big part of Alpha Strike.
We'll have a separate video to go over that. The do's and don'ts of trash talking.
So you mark them and you put the TMM down. Oh, and actually it's +1 TMM because remember that's what happens when you jump. So we would alternate here. So we'll just continue going through back and forth with each of us moving. Tom, you want to pick a guy and move him?
Yeah, the Mad Cat's going to move forward.
Now remember, because he has 2 points of heat, guys, if you look at your reference sheet, you'll see it loses 1 TMM and also 2 inches of movement. If you're playing again raw, it would be 4 inches. But
I might actually just stand him still again.
Thinking?
Yeah,
with the heat penalties can be debilitating.
Yeah, it really takes away a lot of your movement. That's what I'm finding out as a new player, that there's some downsides to taking heat.
So many downsides.
Who knew?
Who knew? All right, guys, well, we're going to keep moving here, and we'll be right back for the action. All right, guys, the 11th Ghost Regiment is up first. I think actually this might be the last turn for us. I think we have taught you almost everything that you might need to know. So
you've taught them.
All right, guys, so we're going to start out with this Avalanche. Remember, there's a little bit of intervening forest here. It's shooting that Centurion. It jumped, so I'm going to need...
And is it in the forest?
It is in the forest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the forest, and there's intervening woods. In Alpha Strike, all that you really look at is there intervening woods. If yes, it's a +1.
Okay, so shooting out of woods isn't its own thing.
Well, yeah, as long as it's just shooting through. If there's any woods between you and your target, is essentially what you need to look at. Yep. Even if I was outside of the woods, if it was in between, same thing.
Gotcha.
So, Avalanche is at a 3. 4-5 for jumping. That's my attacker mod. 6-7 for your TMM. 8 for the woods, and then range is medium. 9-10. So I need 10s to hit. I'm at medium range. That's a 3 for me. 3 points of damage.
Hey.
Oh, 1.
Close.
Just 1 point. Okay, guys. So again, I was looking for 10s. I got 1.
You have dented
plus.
The Centurion.
Just dented. Just chipped the paint there. So here's one interesting thing, guys. We'll talk about here is rear arc. So we talked about front arc, and we said basically as long as somebody is in front of this rear line here, you can see them. Now the Centurion is not like this. Tenchi can't shoot the Centurion. There is a special ability called rear. So you'll see it'll say like rear 1/1 or rear 2/2. I believe the Mad Cat has it.
My Mad Cat has that rear 2/2.
If the Mad Cat were where the Tenchi were, the Mad Cat could shoot basically out in its rear arc.
And do it short and medium.
That's exactly
so
right.
So the 2/2 and
yep,
the dash.
That's exactly right. So the slashes represent short, medium, and long range, and the number represent how much damage you do. So that is an attack you could make. Unfortunately, the Tenchi does not have that. Yeah. So all I can do is continue firing at that Mad Cat. Tom, you want to measure up range for me? Okay, so we measured up. It is just outside of medium range there, so no good for me. But basically, we're at a 3, 4. Actually, I'm sorry, you didn't move, so there's no TMM there. So
0.
So 3, and basically I add my range, which is going to be 3. So I need 6s.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I get 5 attacks. 1, 2. Woo! So 4 points of damage to that Mad Cat.
2 of those are going to be structural hits.
All right, now even though it's 2 pips, it still all counts as 1 attack from that Tenchi. So I get 1 critical hit roll, guys. I roll up like that, and I look at my chart like this, and I would see that this is going to be a motive hit. So 7 motive. So what that means is I get a critical leg actuator, possibly even blown off a leg, something along those lines that's going to slow the mech down severely. So,
and is that what? Are the critical effects shown anywhere on the quick reference?
They are not, but they're actually right on. At least the DFA cards have some notes, so you'll see half move per pip.
So per pip. So basically, after 2 hits, you just keep having one available.
Exactly, and you have the TMM as well to a minimum of a loss of 1.
So if you have 1, does it always round up?
It is a minimum of 1 inch, or if you're playing by raw, 2 inches, regardless. So even if, you have it. So if you're at 1, you would have it to 0.5, and then you round normally, except that you always lose a minimum of 1. So you would go to 0.
always go to 0. And then you're immobile.
Right, you become immobile, which is a special status. Immobile and standing still are different things. Immobile means you're basically dead on the battlefield. You can't dodge, can't try to avoid fire. You're just dead to the world. And so it's actually -4 to hit immobile targets in raw, -2 in what we use here in DFA. So basically, that is that. Now, you're not all set. You're not immobile. Just talking a little bit about. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. We're getting deep into the crunch, but very simple. I think when you take a motive hit, just have it. Remember, you always lose a minimum of at least one. Now, that was me shooting your Mad Cat with my Tenchi.
Yep.
I missed with the avalanche.
But you still have the dragon.
Still have the dragon. Okay, so we're going to start with a long range shot here.
Do I have cover?
You do not.
Really? I think
Nope.
I have cover.
You think you have cover?
I'm pretty sure I have cover.
Let's take a look, guys. So we would get down to model's eye view when we have these arguments. We would look, and we would say, is 33%. You know what? Tom's a new player, so guys, I want to say...
Give it to me.
You absolutely have cover, Tom.
Listen, when a new player asks for cover, just give him the cover.
Just give him the cover.
Unless it's egregious. If it's egregious, don't. But give me
how would cover work? So if 33, let's say half of his mech is covered. So 3, I have 3 here for my skill. You have no TMM.
0.
I have no attacker mod. So basically we're to 3. We're at the other mod. So partial cover is a +1. So I go to 4. And then my range, I'm at long range, 4, 5, 6, 7. I rolled a 9. Yep. So you take a point of damage.
That's a critical.
That's another structure hit. That's going to be another critical hit. I roll this up, guys. I got a 5, which is unfortunately Zippo. And I am going to, once again, direct fire my Arrow 4 system. Here we go. That is a 7. Now, Tom, that is not going to hit. That's going to miss again, right? Let me think about this, because you have partial cover. You have 3. I add 4, remember, a flat 4.
Because you had 4. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And then, 5 for the cover. So I'm at an 8. So that misses. Guys, I'm going to roll the scatter over here. Oh, 1 inch. A 1 inch scatter is going to hit because it's a 1 inch blast template.
Oh.
And you're starting at the center of the base and you move it a full inch, so you're going to have some overlap.
Check that.
So you actually take some damage.
This is short.
Here's the short.
Last pick, yeah.
Boom. So the artillery finally lands. And that Mad Cat Mark IV is taken out of the
Collateral damage.
Just taken out the prime of his life, gunned down. All right, so that's the end of the Ghost Regiment here. So Tom, I believe you have some shooting to do.
I do, yeah. So we'll start again with my Centurion. So we talked about rear arc, and I think I'm going to take advantage of that, right? So again, you draw an infinite line from the back of it. So basically, this is the line. And as long as I'm behind that, right, I am then.
Well, you have to be able to draw. Not only do you have to be behind it, but you have to have line of sight and then draw a straight line, and it has to land on this rear face of his base.
So if I was like over here and drew a straight line and it ended up
somehow not being able to get in there, yes, it does not count as a rear shot.
There
so you have to be able to draw a straight line into any, between those 2 vertices, if you will, on the rear base, and you can. So that is a rear shot. So when you have a rear shot, everything is normal except you do an additional point of damage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this Centurion is in short range.
Wow,
but he still only does 4, but he'll do 5 then.
He'll do 5. That's incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, for this little guy. Yeah, so that's great. So let's do up his to hit number.
All right.
So he is at a 3 skill, a 4.
Yep.
And then range is +1. So 5s.
Oh boy.
So I get 5 shots at 5.
All right, here we go. 5 shots at 5. Critical. So 1 point of damage and a critical hit. 2 points of damage. 3 points of damage.
Wow, I'm like just doing it.
4 points of damage. Full house. 5 points of damage. Now wait a minute. And a critical hit. So you haven't gotten through the Tenchi's armor yet.
Wow. Even with 5?
Yeah, no, I mean, you did 3 to it before. I think it has a full, it has 9 or 10. I'd have to count the little pips.
Yeah,
but go ahead and roll that critical. Now, Tom, if you get a 2 or a 12, you can instantly destroy this mech and put it out of its misery.
So let's think about beginner's luck. Let's see what happens here.
Enemy mech.
Oh, you got beginner's luck.
Oh, I knew it. I felt it.
Are those the dice with all the 6s on them? That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, there you have it, folks. So if you look, this is great. It's like all the things are working in our favor here to show our viewers.
Louise, yeah.
That's just a kill, outright kill. Now I want to talk about a couple of special rules before we get any further here. So you'll notice 2 is ammo, 12 is killed. There is nothing that can save you from a 12.
Yeah.
However, if you get an ammo critical, that will normally kill mechs if they do not have either the case or case 2 special abilities. So we'll look here and you see like on my dragon, it has, the dragon here has the case 2 special ability. Yeah. I believe the avalanche has case. In this era, a lot of mechs will have it. Almost all the clan mechs, I think every clan mech has it. So pretty exciting stuff there. But that Tenchi, you just find the cockpit, and that was an incredible, or something, the engine, I guess you're shooting through the back. Below that mech, like the smithereens.
The Star Wars shooting through the exhaust pipe, you know what I mean?
It's got the tailpipe.
He pulled a Skywalker.
Oh, God, pulled the Skywalker. So that Tenchi is destroyed. Incredible. So 2 of our assaults here, the Mad Cat and the Tenchi. Well, I guess the Mad Cat's technically a heavy,
that's
but
rad.
It's rad.
This is even fun for, if I was an advanced player, I would still be having a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, very fun. Okay, so Tom, you have 2 more mechs to shoot with.
Yeah, wow, so I guess I will fire at the, I guess I'll fire through the woods.
Okay, you're going for it.
Yeah, I'll fire through the woods. I think I'm at 13.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'd be at extreme range with this guy.
Yeah, probably.
23, 24. Yeah, so I'll do the long range.
Looks like you're about shooting through 2 inches of woods here.
So that'd be +2.
Sorry guys with the camera there. So there's 2 inches of wood about there. So that's a +2 to your attack. Now, actually, let me rephrase that. It's a +1 by rules as written. We play, which we're not going to talk about here extensively, but we play with another optional rule where the deeper you are in the woods, the harder it gets to hit. But we're going to play by the basic rules, no matter, as long as you're under 3 inches of woods, it's just a +1.
Okay, so he's at a 3, +1 for his heat, so he's a 4.
+2 for his heat, right?
TMM minus
TN.
1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, target number. Yeah, I'm sorry. +2.
Target number. Yeah.
So he's 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Walkback rule. He is going to stay. He's not going to shoot, so that he bleeds off that 2 overheat.
Okay.
He will shoot.
Okay.
Because he's exploded anyway.
All right. So that is also the advantage of initiative, right? So he gets to see which units are destroyed, and though he can, So the Mad Cat's dead. You can still shoot with him, but he's dead next turn, so he's going to overheat, right?
Yeah.
You just go for broke, because you have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he is at 18. He is at 24.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go long range, go at the dragon.
Okay.
Okay. And he's at long range. I forgot.
So you'll do 4.
Well, and it's also only 9.
Oh, only 9?
Yeah.
How'd that happen? 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did I get that
7,
right?
8, 9, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 9s and I get 4.
Actually 8s, because you're stationary.
Thank you, experienced player, for helping to tell, and that's another thing, help your beginner player out. If they miss something,
don't crush their soul.
Yeah, tell them, give them the benefit. Okay, so 8s, wow, so 4 at 8, okay.
It's 1. It's 1. It's 1. Well, his cockpit is engulfed in flames and all. So.
Yeah.
So 1 point on the dragon.
Hey, little retribution. Let's do the house cleaning, the end phase, and just, because there's some things we got to do, right?
Sure.
So we can start with my units. So the Mad Cat gets taken off the board.
Yeah.
And remember, I will flip his card to make sure. Another thing that happens is, because I did not shoot my Templar, I'm going to remove the heat dice.
Right.
And I'm going to remove the heat buildup from the heat scale.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
next turn he's going to be brand spanking new
and ready to go. Right. And remember, guys, when you opt not to shoot, or if you are in water, there's a whole bunch of scenarios where you can actually bleed off heat. So you should check those out. Again, all of this stuff is in that that beginner's guide for free. So say hi to the Tenchi. He's toast. So pretty good game though. It's quick, it's easy. I think a lot of the complexity in some of the other war games is abstracted away here, but you still end up with a very, I think, a very fun and tactically challenging game.
Layered. One, it makes it easier to get into the game. because you're not trying to remember all this stuff. And two, as you get more advanced, there's growth. You can grow into that stuff instead of just hitting it all from the get-go.
Agreed. All right, well, why don't we go to the wrap-up, and then we'll close this thing out. All right, guys, that's it. That wraps us up. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you actually learned a thing or two. Otherwise, we've completely failed in our mission. But again, this is for new players.
Well, you have. I'm the beginner player. I have
I take all the blame.
Yeah.
Hopefully, either whether you're a new player, whether you're a veteran of Classic that's looking to get into Alpha Strike, or whether you just want some tips on how to teach your buddy how to play, hopefully this was informative. Yeah. So we kind of went through, I think, again, organically, the whole sort of learning to play, teaching someone how to play motions here, right? I mean...
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point, too. This is also an effective method for the Classic player that doesn't quite get the difference between the two, or like why you would play Alpha Strike versus CBT or something.
Mm-hmm. So when we talked about our house rules, in this we really showcased a couple of things. One, the 1-to-1 scale, which I think plays out really well, because you can keep mechs, like my dragon was in the backfield, you have a nice flanking maneuver.
On a 48 by 48.
Right. I mean, if we were playing 2-to-1, the normal scale, the spider would have been on the other side of the board in 3 turns, which is, I mean, I guess if you're into that, that's great. To me, it seems a little goofy, when you can jump 16 inches on a 4. And I think we play on a relatively big game area.
When you see like what you get in those games.
Right, so this is a pretty good size. So again, really like that. The other thing I really like is, the range penalties that we use, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 0, 2, 4, 6.
Yeah. A little bit more hitting.
You hit more.
More gradient.
Yeah, and it's easier to remember. Yeah. And then the multiple attack rolls. Like we saw how you can still whiff every time, or you can still hit every time, but a lot of times you're somewhere in between. And it's much more gratifying for a new player. Imagine if it's like you spent all this time moving and then you just roll 2d6, 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 2, and you're done. And I missed 4 times. Yeah. When you get to roll a bunch of dice more, that's much more fun.
And one thing I want to highlight from the beginner aspect too is about the modified 1, 2, 3, 4. Something that it naturally does without you really paying attention to it is that it encourages, it doesn't penalize you for staying at range. Whereas before, the dice does not scale. It's always 2d6, whether you're playing that or this. So when you're taking a minus or a +4 penalty,
or +6 at extreme,
my God,
like
you're shooting somebody at long range, you're never going to hit. Yeah. And so with this, you can stay at longer range and not open yourself up to just getting decimated in a turn.
Right.
But still hit every so often.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah. There's again, I keep pushing it, but like our modified rules are very beneficial for everyone, but beginner players, it's a little more
satisfaction. Yeah, I think there's more game satisfaction there.
Yeah. And you can play. You can be more aggressive, run in on things, and you get a benefit to that. Or if you'd like to be a more conservative player, you don't get penalized so bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Things to keep in mind.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have other house rules that we have not incorporated into this. Those are posted online in a sheet, so you can look at them. You can figure out what they are. And go ahead.
I was going to say too, and in the commander's guide, right?
Right.
There's even more, so you can make it your own as well. You can play the raw and then add in your own from that. We just made a collection of them basically.
Right, based on again, sort of the DFA sort of package, right? Yeah,
but your group can have your own sort of flavor. If you
yeah, absolutely. There's no real wrong way to play it, and I think that's the beauty of it. The other thing I will sort of talk about, the Lance Packs. Can't stress enough. This is a really cool opportunity. They are on Aries as a one-click bundle. They're discounted. You get 4 mechs.
They're balanced.
They're cross-balanced, right? So, basically every lance is designed to be able to face off against the other lance in a balanced fashion, right? Depending, of course, you could pick wacky variants and point and balance it. Some of them are, have a wide range. But if you pick the ones that, are reasonable, you can find a combination that works, which I think is really cool. And that's about it, guys. That's all I got.
I'm a new player. I have no idea what's going on right now.
You have no idea. So... couple of final things. Remember, you can go online if you're a brand new player, download from Catalyst Game Labs their free starter, how to play Alpha Strike. I think if you type in Google Catalyst Game Labs Alpha Strike quick reference or quick start, I think it's quick start. Yeah, you can get that go to www.dfawargaming.com/downloads. You'll see everything you want for Alpha Strike there. Our quick reference sheets, our sequence of play sheets, all the things we've referenced are there, free for you to download. Also, get the mech packs if you don't have any mechs and you're looking for an easy way to get in.
Yeah.
And we have the cards online for you to download. Another great resource, Master Unit List, which you can just type into Google. That's also a Topps Catalyst Game Lab resource where you can basically get any mech, any vehicle, anything, and get the stat card for it. So pretty cool. And that's about it. So guys, I really look forward to your feedback on this. Hopefully you can attract a couple new players to the game, or if you're a brand new player and want to know what it's about, hopefully you're more interested. And of course, you can always email us with questions or find us on Discord, Facebook, pretty much everywhere.
Don't come to my house.
Do not do that. I've seen it. It's actually pretty nice.
Thank you.
You know.
Shout out to Catalyst for supporting new players, like having free resources. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Like, and we got to grow the gamer base. Like, it's on us to advocate for it and to help other people find it and learn about it. So do your part.
Do your part. Veteran
BattleTech Army. Yeah, dude. The Mech Warrior Army. Ooh.
Start
like the Kiss shirt, but like don't listen to me.
Love it. And as I've said before, I've missed having you here.
Yeah, man. It's good.
We're back. We're back in the studio. Feels good, guys. Hopefully things are starting to ease up in your neck of the woods as well. Hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. Again, don't forget to find us online, Facebook, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And of course, stay tuned, guys. Always great stuff coming from Death from Above Wargaming. Take care.